And welcome to everyone joining us for our practice here today. It's nice to be back after a couple of weeks off. And we've just got two more meditations here for the season this week and next week. And then for July and August, we'll be on pause, taking our summer rest and getting back to work again or into our practice after Labor Day. So welcome into practice here. I'll invite you to settle in, allow yourself to rest and relax a little bit. I would encourage you as we practice to close your eyes if you're comfortable with this approach. It can help. Closing our eyes, I find, helps us to limit some distractions that might arise around us, but also just focusing our attention a bit more intently within. And as we're settling in, you can begin noticing the natural movement of your breath. And if you're having a hard time noticing the touch of the breath as it rises and falls, you might take a couple of deeper breaths just to really help you make contact. And ideally, in our practice, we're breathing through the nostrils, breathing through the nose. If this feels comfortable, if it feels doable. And after a few of these deeper intentional breaths, we can come back to the natural rise and fall of the breath, just trusting the intelligence of creation to do this work for us. We don't have to manage the breath throughout our practice. Just noticing the natural incoming breath, the natural outgoing breath. Just feeling the sensation as it rises and falls. And as we're still just easing into our practice together, into our prayer of presence, I will open us with a prayer for the life of the world, drawn from John Philip Newell, from his prayer book for peace, Praying with the Earth. So I would invite you to receive this prayer as encouragement entering our practice together. Created as one soul, made in the holy image, our deepest desires are your desires, God. Our first instincts are your instincts. Renew in us our sacred longings. Revive in us our first thirsts, so that wars may cease and the human soul may be one. Amen. And to support us as we're still just settling in and stabilizing here in our practice, stabilizing in presence, I will ring 3 chimes from our singing bowl. And we can invite the resonance of these 3 chimes just to ring out and resound for as long as they do, for as long as they're translated through these technological means. And invite this resonance to call our attention into this moment, inviting our bodies to relax. And so we can remind ourselves we are simply feeling the breath. This is a very simple practice. Simple in the sense that it is uncomplicated, even as it can also be hard work. Simple, uncomplicated hard work. Allowing our attention to center on the touch of the breath as it comes and goes. And of course, any number of other things will arise in our attention. Our minds jumping around from here to there and back again and spinning about as they do. And we don't have to become further entangled in any frustration or judgment when we notice our minds doing what they do in this way. But whenever we notice that our attention has wandered off, we simply shift back to the breath, turning back to presence. This is the practice. And gradually we notice momentum building in our practice. We can notice that we're able to rest our attention and presence for longer and longer stretches, or that we're able to focus or center our attention in the breath in a bit more of a concentrated way, so that in the periphery, the other thoughts passing through are less aggressive or less prominent. And slowly, slowly, through this practice, we are investing in the ground of being. This is a name for God, a phrase coined by a theologian, Paul Tillich. God as the ground of being. And we don't have to get up and out of ourselves to tune into this ground of being. It's much more a process of looking down and in our own being. We find the divine being. For as the Apostle Paul reminds us, it is in God that we live and move and have our being. Our very being is grounded in the divine. And so we tune into this depth, one breath at a time. And it's often helpful to consciously set aside our to-do list, anything we feel that we're needing to keep on top of in the coming hours, days, weeks. We remind ourselves that right now, there's nowhere else we have to be. Nothing else we have to be doing. And all of this helps to give us more fulsome permission, a deeper permission just to be here. And so we allow ourselves to rest. We allow ourselves to remain attentive, alert as we rest. Simply feeling the breath as it rises and falls. And sometimes it can help our practice to deepen by feeling the breath as if it were waves, waves rising and falling, waves reaching up and then receding from a shoreline. So perhaps you can picture your breath moving in this way. The inhalation like the wave reaching up the shoreline, and the exhalation like the wave being pulled back into the sea. And as we feel these waves of breath, we might also consider what we are ready to receive, what we might be ready to release. and allowing the waves to carry out this work, offering new gifts and receiving from us and carrying away anything that we are ready to let go of. Just this breath. We never have to look any further forward in the midst of our practice. We don't require any strategy or agenda as we feel the breath. We don't have to plot a course forward as we rest and feel the breath. In this practice, in this prayer of presence, we are unconstrained